me? So now I know there have to be a lot of questions. So if you would come to the microphone and ask, and as I usually tell you, anything I can't answer, Ron Gazzato will answer it for you. You know I love you, man, right? Okay, good. Okay, questions? Oh, he's going to get back at me now.
Thank you very much, Wayne, for a very candid and very nicely shared understanding of the circumstances that we're in. A question that came to my mind is, this facility, how would we pay for it if we wanted to continue to meet at least up until July 31st as a location where we could all get together, discuss, where we want to go as a congregation and that sort of thing. So that's the question I have.
You answer by saying, first of all, that however these financial negotiations work out, there will be a reserve for this congregation to move forward. I would tell you to have somebody appointed as a lead on this and begin talking with Vivian Barclay right now, because I've been in touch with her and Roger to let them know where this situation stands. They know that you're going to be taking all of the physical assets out of here. That needs to be done. But talk with her, because this may be too big and too expensive, but for the time being, she's waiting to hear from you. The Christian education building out there is available for a lot less money. So there are options, but they need to be discussed and exercised pretty much immediately with Vivian. And then also, our insurance binder. Once the charter is not in place, the GCI insurance binder will be no longer available. So I know that, and Uta, please forgive me for using your name, but I know Uta had done the research and I believe come up with an affordable rider for the congregation to use. So, yes, sir, Donnie.
Pastor. The question that I have is, primarily a clarification. I think you may have misstated when you said the local physical assets would be, I think you said taken by the denomination, but you meant the local congregation would keep those in its possession. And I just wanted to give you an opportunity to state that for the record, just in case there was any confusion. Yeah.
It's like I always tell my wife when we discuss the service afterwards, I wasn't listening to me. But thank you. All the physical assets belong to West Valley, and you'll just need to get them out of here. However you negotiate it with Vivian, negotiate that. I will need to collect the keys to this facility from everyone by next week, when we meet next week. Marvin is going... This is a surprise to Marvin. So Marvin, here, while we got nobody listening, can I ask you this? Would you be willing to keep your keys and work to give access for whatever needs to be done after the 15th? Yes? Thank you. I'm sorry to do that, but yeah. So, because we have to do this. They want the keys back because we never signed a new rental agreement for this year, so it's kind of month to month, but they do want to know what's going to happen with hymnals and coffee pots and all that stuff by the 21st, and would like to know if you're taking it out. Marvin will have access. Okay, Donnie, sorry.
Yes, sir. I had the other question that I shared with you in email, and I know that it tiptoes precipitously close to finances, but I just wanted to know if you wanted to say anything about the charities.
Yes.
Just on behalf of brethren who may want to support them individually in the near future.
Thank you. Did any of you get the email that I sent out last evening with a list of all the charities? No? I'm having trouble with my email. I'm having trouble sending out an email this week that I actually sent 4 times before I got word that everyone was getting it. But I sent one last night with a chart showing all of the charities and ministries that we currently support, and thanks to Ida for providing that. Getting a lot of ring. I will contact, and if you look at the email, you'll see all of that. If you don't have it, anybody have their phone where they could check their emails right now? Don't have it? That's getting frustrating. I'm getting lots of emails I don't want, and I'm not able to send out the ones I do want. Anyway, I'll resend it with a request for somebody to let me know you got it. Because West Valley was giving to some of the same ministries and charities that Poor Wainimi was, and on that chart you can see very clearly which one is which. I will be personally talking to Connecting and Bonding, to Bengali Evangelical Association. Now that John Biswas has passed on, I'll be talking with his wife Naomi to let her know the situation. I will talk to Aid Child, talk to Nathaniel, let him know what's going on. And I will talk to the maternity house, forget what it's called. Yes. What is it again? Thank you. Jesus, Angel's Way. I got that. Thank you. So when you get that email, that's all made fairly clear. It's just that those will need to be picked up by individuals or by any group that you choose to form going forward. Thank you, Donnie. Yes? Yeah, I don't have any contact information, but there are a couple that were Poor Wainimi that I don't know how to contact them. There is the ministry that Susan Gordon is a part of, that I'll be talking to Susan to see if I need to speak to someone in particular, because there's some very worthy ministries and charities, and this congregation, both congregations, have done an amazing job of supporting them. But as of the end of this month, GCI won't be supporting them denominationally, but there are other congregations in Southern California, I know for a fact, are supporting Aid Child and are supporting Connecting and Bonding. So there's some overlap. When I say GCI won't be supporting them anymore, I'm talking about denominationally, but there are some local congregations that are supporting them. Does that help, or does that just bring up more questions? Is that?
We look forward to your email.
Okay. I look forward to you receiving it. It's crazy. I sent an email out on Tuesday with information about today, and I checked with people, nobody had received it. On Tuesday, yeah. And today I hear from 3 people, yeah, we got it on Tuesday. Well, I'm sending things the same way I always have, the exact same methods, but they're not going out. And then on Thursday, I believe it is, I resent it 3 times. And people were telling me they didn't get it. So finally, sorry to bore you all with technical stuff, but I went into my GCI email on the web, which is really clunky to use, and instead of resending it, I forwarded it, and I think that's when everybody got it on Thursday. Well, I sent that on Tuesday to try to get ahead of it. So, trying to communicate what I know as I can, but I'm only going to be with you two more weekends. The 9th and the 15th. And then the 21st is the next Friday, so I will no longer actually be your pastor on the 22nd. So yes, there are decisions that need to be made pretty quickly, but I also want to tell you, I'm not at liberty to divulge particulars, but GCI is also extending some grace in other ways to help you get through this. Because I tell you, the desire is for us to continue to be brothers and sisters, not just in spirit, but just before we go to the next question, the Lord blessed us with a home in East Texas, in Longview, where I grew up, as I said. We tried and tried and tried to find a way we could retire in Southern California, and I just want to say thank you all for allowing us, or for making it possible for us to live in this beautiful part of the world. There's no place like it. But we couldn't retire here, but when we started looking for a home in East Texas, He blessed us with such an incredible retirement home. So if you're ever in East Texas, I'll send to everybody my email address that's not going to change. My phone will change finally. But seriously, if you're ever in East Texas, Longview is 20 miles from Big Sandy. So many of you know where Big Sandy is, or 22 miles. Mitchell Bed and Breakfast will be open to you. And, you know, we'll be living off Social Security, so we might be eating grits and beans, but yeah, we'd love to see you if you ever come down that way. Okay, Pam. Oh no, she's got a notebook. I'm in trouble.
Small notebook.
So notice the microphone is far enough away you can't hit me with it.
Okay. Thank you so much for so many wonderful sermons. You're such a gifted communicator, and I've just enjoyed so many of your sermons for all these years. And your great sense of humor, and thank you so much. And now to the taboo. I'm going to preface this. A senior minister from a corporate told me maybe 10 years ago, Pam, your congregation is famous because you have so much money. And he says, I've seen everybody's financials. Nobody has any money. None of the other congregations do. And he says, you're able to have a full-time pastor. Hardly anybody else is. So he says it's been noticed. That was maybe 10 years ago. In 2015, we had Randy Bloom was sent here. You probably know about this. With the goal of getting our money. And he wanted Randy Bloom. He had a ministry with teaching children how to be pastors. And there was 4 of them. He showed us a picture. There was 3 girls and a boy, teenagers, and they were teaching them how to be pastors. So they would meet quarterly and at a resort, different parts of the country, and have like long weekends and had a lot of fun and had seminars. So for these 4, he asked us for a donation. And Carlton said, how much do you want? And he said, $440,000, which just coincidentally happened to be everything in our bank account. Everything. Okay, for 4 children, or teenagers, meeting 4 times a year. So Carlton offered him $20,000. He was sad. It was obvious to everybody in the room. He was sad, but he took it. And he was supposed to get back to us. You've probably heard this with the financials or whatever he did with it, some kind of a report, and he did not. So the $20,000 was not what he wanted. So that's the background of why I'm saying this. Last Sabbath, we had a group here getting prepared for today, because we thought we were going to be live streaming, and there was at least 10 adults, 1 child, and 2 dogs. So I had no time to watch the sermon or Tim Sitterly. I didn't know any of this. And Kathy called me about an hour after we got here and said, Pam, have you seen the Tim Sitterly video? Now, nobody had said anything. 10 people here. Nobody had said anything about it. And we've been here about an hour. And she asked me, I said, no, I don't know any, I haven't had time, we're busy. She says, well, the charter's being dissolved, pastor's retiring. So first thing I said to her is, did they take our money? And she says, oh, I don't know, he didn't say anything about money. But you need to work, she says, you got to watch this for yourself, so when you get home. I go, okay. So I asked 4 different people that were here in different rooms, they weren't all together, and I went up to each one and I said, you know about the charter being dissolved and pastor retiring? Each one of them said, yes, I know about that. And then I said, did they take our money? And the fear in the eyes and the way I'm sorry, I can't say anything. Please don't ask me any questions. And I got this from every single one, separately, which told me, yes, they took our money. They didn't say anything. They said, I can't talk about, Yes, they took our money. So.
You want an answer? You want me to comment?
Go ahead. You want to? Yeah, go ahead.
When you're done, I'll be glad to comment.
Yeah.
You done?
Well, I can just say that the big bulk of the money, the one that made our bank account so fat, was from a donation from an elderly member who died in 2007. His name was Mr. Gordon Collins, and he specified of his last wish that these funds were to go to the West Valley. At that time we were worldwide, Church of God, the congregation, and it was not to go to corporate. It was for us. It was for us to care for our own members and for whatever we needed to do. So.
A couple of comments. First of all, as I said to begin with, those decisions are being discussed right now, and actually any of us trying to answer your questions with any specificity would basically make that process null and void. So I am not about to discuss it. I think that, first of all, when we give our offerings, we give to whom? To God. And we give those like a burnt offering. It is to be a sweet incense in his nostrils. And it should not be the first thing that comes to mind with a visceral reaction when we talk about a process like this. We are Christians. So anyway, that being said, I would like to finish responding.
Okay.
So nobody is going to discuss that. I would like to tell you that they're not taking all your money, all God's money. That's not happening. And I would like to also speak to, I can't speak to what Randy Bloom said or didn't say. Randy Bloom is a personal friend of mine, of great integrity. I would say that there are larger congregations with larger reserves across this country, and that program he was trying to start, he went to every major congregation in the country getting it started. And guess what? It got off the ground. Do you know that Ambassador College started with 3 people with very scant funds? That training program has become Grace Communion Seminary, part of it, which is an internationally acclaimed school of theology, and it has become a ministerial training program. And as we speak, the first MTC, Ministerial Training Center, is being built in Oklahoma City. So that was the seeds of this beginning. I'd have no idea why he would ask for $400,000 seriously, but that's beside the point. But that program is really doing well right now. They plan to have 3 MTCs, Ministerial Training Centers, in the U.S. This is the first. And yes, there are a lot of young pastors coming out of that program to step in when old people like me move forward. So you're looking at a moment in time of a request to many congregations to pitch in to get us started. Thank God it has been blessed, and Grace Communion has quite a few young pastors who are coming up be able to lead. So I thank God that I don't have anything to say about what's happening with your money, but I know that we worship and serve a gracious God to whom we give our offerings. And I know that all of that money was only collected and what's the word? The tax exempt receipts were given because of the charter with Grace Communion. But that's all beside the point. We are all God's children, made in His image, who worship Him with our time, treasure, and our talents. And when we give those things, never mind. We give to God. And I know that there is, something about a church whose byline is, we are rich and increased with goods and have need of nothing. Every church who's living and sharing the gospel needs a reserve, but they also need to be a conduit instead of a reservoir. And that lesson is taught so profoundly by the Holy Land itself. The dew of Hermon that forms the Jordan River flows into the Sea of Galilee, and it just multiplies life abundantly. You know why? Because it's got an outlet. It goes out the other end. When it gets to, that same water gets to the Dead Sea, do you know why it's dead? Because there's no outlet. So it teaches us that we can either be conduits of God's grace and blessings, or we can choose to be a reservoir, and life dies inside a reservoir. So forgive me, I didn't mean to start sermonizing and preaching, but the answer is, I can't redress anything that might have happened in the past. I know Randy and I trust him. I love him like a brother. So I don't know what happened then. And frankly, I think the sooner all of us let go of what's gone before and embrace what the opportunities going forward, the better we're all going to be. I'm leaving here at the end of July, living by faith, because we're going to be living on our Social Security. We all go through this life.
I have an question.
I was afraid of that. I was trying to filibuster you, but go ahead.
Yeah, I do
Kidding,
have...
folks, I'm only kidding.
No, nicely said, very well, very nice, thank you. I appreciate that. My question actually is, with all that, sorry to take so long to get to it, I know what I saw with all four of those people that I talked to, and they were scared, and I'm asking you to tell us why. Why were they scared? They shouldn't have to be scared. The four people I asked last week about what's going on, and it was...
This kind of life change is scary.
They weren't scared about us having our charter dissolved. It was about the money.
I can't answer that. I can't answer for any individual. I hope that as Christians that isn't our first reaction. But
you think it was just each individual had their own bad idea?
I'm saying I don't know. I can't answer for what's going through
Was there anything that happened at that meeting?
The mind or the heart of anybody in here right now.
Was there anything that was said to them that would make them scared?
That's the reason I played this again. This is
Not
it,
that.
folks.
Okay, well, I guess that's it.
This is it.
That's it. I asked the
And
question.
frankly, whatever course of action you choose, together or individually, I really hope that you can do it with peace and with moving together with people you know and love and trust. So I'm sorry, Pam, but I really can't. I can't speak to that.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much for trying. And, you said some nice things. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I do love you all. I've told you that several times, and I tell you over this last year, I've realized,
I'm one of the ones that's not so easy to love that you mentioned.
no,
Yes, I am.
no, I didn't say that. That was said half in jest, because we have, all of us have kind of bounced off of one another in the last 3.5 years we've been here at times. That doesn't mean we don't love one another. Anyway, Donnie.
I feel bad now because I don't have quite as an exciting series of questions. But I realized that the Ventura congregation also existed until, what, several months ago?
August.
Oh, August, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I know that there are physical assets over there as well, and also, I presume, continuing a rental agreement over there, or I don't know if you've terminated it.
No, we don't have a rental agreement over there.
Okay,
And actually, when that congregation was combined with this congregation, all the assets were combined. So there isn't a separate pot of money. And that's just in the financial manual and the church administration manual. It's been in there through Worldwide Church of God and through Grace Communion, that when congregations combine, all the assets combine. So that's what happened in August.
yes, sir. I was just asking because since there are questions about whether we would continue meeting here after, I can't keep all the dates straight, I wrote them down. If there was an option to meet over there
Yeah.
in addition, but it sounds like the relationship between our congregations and that, what is it, First Assembly Church
First Assembly.
has been terminated.
Well, let me tell you, practical arrangements and relationships are two different things. So the practical arrangement with First Assembly of God in Port Hueneme had to be terminated. But I assure you, and Bob and Joyce could probably speak to this, the relationship is intact. I didn't do anything, we didn't do anything to try to harm relationships. As a matter of fact, my discussions with CCN have really been trying to carve a way for everyone to move forward. So it's, you know, they're just the practicalities of things that had to be done.
Okay, thank you very much for the
And I know that they would love to have you guys meet over there, right, Bob? That's the sense that I got. That opportunity is still there. This is not easy, folks, for anybody on any side of this, and thank you for the questions. I really appreciate it. Anyone else? Edith.
Thank you, Pastor Ron, for allowing us the time to discuss and for the opportunity to clarify some things. So can you just clarify regarding the month of May? You said that you're going to be available for 2 more weeks. May have 5 Sabbath. So my understanding that we're going to pay for the rest of the month for May. So if you're only available for 2 weeks, would we still be able to get together here for the last 3 Sabbath in May?
Well, like I said, that's an arrangement that needs to be made with Vivian right away. She's waiting to find out what you guys want to do. It will be paid through the end of May. So yeah, if Vivian and Roger are okay with you guys meeting here, I mean, even if they were okay with you guys meeting here through the end of July or further, that is entirely up to your arrangements with Vivian and Roger Barkley, our host pastors at CCN. But yeah, it'll be paid for. There's no reason not to meet here.
Month of May?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
so
you.
not to worry about that. I don't think it's in Vivian and Roger's heart to kick anybody to the curb, but what they do need is for someone to open up discussions and negotiations with them. And let me just say, their relationship with Marvin has always been the closest of relationships. So I would encourage you, if you want to open negotiations with Vivian and Roger, talk with Marvin about it first. because they see him as a close friend. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I frankly, when we came here and first met in this place, I just had the feeling that this is just so conducive to worship. And I would love to see you guys be able to stay here. And Vivian said that they have plans, as they're able to afford it, to remodel the CE building, the Christian Education building out there. I've never been there, but some of you have met there, is that right? That will be available either before or after they do the remodel. If you wanted to stay on this premise and rent a smaller facility here. But I'd hate to think of you guys having to leave here, because GCI is, they're not shutting down West Valley. I really don't want to hear that kind of talk, because they don't have the power to shut it down. You guys are a living, breathing, thinking for yourself congregation of people. And there's no intention to try to hobble your abilities to move forward together. So please open a discussion with Vivian and Roger. Let them know what you're thinking. And I know they'll facilitate something for you. Vivian's here today, by the way. She was out scoping out the CE building. How many of you know Vivian and Roger? You met them? Yeah, they're good people. And they've enjoyed having you all here for the years you've been here, which of course predates me by a long ways. But Marvin, I just keep piling more stuff on you, brother. And you can tell me how you really feel about it later. But Roger and Vivian just really have a really close relationship with Marvin. So I would definitely work out negotiations with him, or at least talk to him first. Any other questions? Uh-oh, we're out of time. Oh, look at the time. Hey, Carl.
I'm Wayne. Just one request. I'd like to know if there is, we could receive a copy of the charter for the congregation that was given before.
Email it to anyone who requests it. Mm-hmm. I don't simply want to put it out there to everyone, but if you want a copy, wait a minute. How many of you would like to have a copy of our current charter? No, not our, yeah, it's pretty much boilerplate language, but if you want to see the one that we're functioning under right now, I'll send you a copy. So just shoot me an email, say you'd like to have a copy of that. I mean, it's not a secret. It's every congregation in GCI